This man was hunting in the woods one day when he came face to face with a menacing bear in dire need of help. His actions would determine what the bear would do to him. A year later, there was a small, tight-knit family in a small village in Wyoming, a man, his wife, and their adorable little son, John. John's father was a renowned town doctor who had mastered using herbs to heal the sick. People came from far and wide to see the renowned village doctor. It was said that he had healing hands because they always left his house feeling better. As a little boy, John admired his father so much that he wanted to be just like him when he grew up. He was always by his side, helping out and learning all he could. When John turned 17, his father came down with a strange illness, and he did all he could to help heal his dad. With their experience and knowledge combined, they still had no luck. In fact, his father's illness only worsened. After 2 sad weeks, John's father passed away. John was filled with so much anger and sadness that he gave up on his dreams of becoming a doctor. What's the point of it all when I couldn't even save my own father, he thought bitterly. He had completely lost faith in his abilities. With his father gone, John found walking in the woods to be therapeutic for him. One day in winter, John found that he was so troubled and restless. Usually when he felt like this, he would head out into the woods to hunt or just enjoy nature. That's exactly what he did. Just close to the entrance of the woods, John quickly realized he had chosen the worst day to come out. He heard a guttural growl not far from where he stood, and when he looked up, it was a gigantic bear. At first glance, it was menacing, but as he studied the bear, John could tell something was wrong with it. Its breathing was labored, and it let out a pitiful sound. John noticed a fresh gash just above the bear's left eye, and his breath caught in his throat when he realized what was going on. The bear was pregnant and in labor. Judging by that gash, it had likely been attacked by another animal and was in pain. John wasn't quite sure the bear had seen him yet, but he contemplated slowly retreating before she did. However, it was too late. He locked eyes with the bear as she growled loudly in pain. Behind those dark eyes, the young man could tell that there was an intelligent soul in there trying to communicate with him, asking for help. This was a stupid thing to do, but John decided he could not leave the bear like this. He had helped animals through labor before, so this was not foreign to him. He ignored his fear and all the alarms going off in his head and stepped closer to the bear. The next 20 minutes were the most unreal and high-tension moments of John's life. He managed to help the bear deliver her babies after discovering that there was an unusual problem with the birth, hence why she was in so much pain and seeking help. He also gathered some herbs to help with her injured eye. Despite how terrifying the encounter was, the bear was so unbelievably calm and instead looked to John with gratitude. At first he worried that she would attack him after he helped her, but instead she simply carried her young and ambled away. John knew they would never cross paths again and that no one would probably believe him, but as he walked home that night, he felt inexplicably happy. Saving the bear had reawakened a part of him that he thought was long dead. He remembered how much he enjoyed helping, and this eye-opening experience made him realize what a mistake it was to quit. John quickly rushed home and told his mother of his experience and his decision to start helping people again. His mother could not understand what he was saying. He sounded half mad, but she was grateful to this mystical bear that brought the light back to her son's eyes. Little did she know that she would have a lot more to thank the bear for. Over the next few days, John would go back to the spot where he had the incredible encounter with the bear. As expected, he didn't find her there, but he hoped she and her cubs were safe and had not been attacked by another animal. Even though John knew they'd never meet again, he would cherish the memory for a very long time. She had given him the gift of rediscovering himself. Life continued for John. The first thing he did was open up his own medical practice in the village. Everyone was so excited to see John back in his element that they paid him visits and brought gifts to his new establishment. Things started to go well again, and he soon married his childhood friend and sweetheart, Brenda. Although he had now become very busy with his practice, John always made time to relax in the calming embrace of nature in the woods. News came that this year's winter would come late and there would be a lot of blizzards. The doctor hated that he would have to avoid his calming spot, so he decided to go into the woods one last time before winter rolled around. There was not much to do. Most of the animals around were already hiding away as the weather became less friendly. A scurry here and there, but nothing too exciting. John was lost in his thoughts when he tripped and fell face first into a ditch several feet deep. It had gotten so dark that he must have missed the rock that tripped him. He tried to get up, but cried out as a sharp pain shot through his leg. His ankle was badly twisted. He started shouting for help, but in truth he was so far away from anyone else and knew the noise could attract predators nearby. He didn't have a choice though, and after an hour of screaming, his voice hoarse, John started to give up. He was in so much pain, and the cold was getting to him already. Even though he dressed relatively warmly, his jacket and boots wouldn't keep him protected from the harsh cold and the wet ground beneath him. John started to lose consciousness, but was startled awake when he heard a loud thud in the distance. The thuds became louder and closer, and John began to panic. A predator had finally found him, and in this state he was practically free dinner. John thought about his wife Brenda and his mother, how heartbroken they would be when they found out that he had been mauled by a wild animal just hours after he promised he'd be back soon. The doctor soon realized that the thuds were footsteps of something huge. He was terrified, and as he looked up at the edge of the ditch, he saw a menacing black bear staring at him hungrily. Just as the black bear was about to leap into the ditch, a large figure flew past and pushed the black bear out of sight. John heard a lot of growling and fighting, and after several minutes the forest became quiet. Heart still thundering in his chest, John gasped when he saw a grizzly bear appear. It had an old wound across its eye and stared back at him. Immediately John knew this was the bear he had helped all those months ago. The mother bear jumped into the ditch, followed by two smaller bears, most likely the ones he'd helped her deliver that day. She began sniffing at him and all of a sudden started licking his face. John was paralyzed with fear and half wondered if she remembered him at all, or if she planned to eat him. Before he knew what was happening, the bear lifted John out of the ditch by grabbing his collar with her teeth and laid him on the ground a few feet from where the black bear lay unmoving. Taking her in closely, John confirmed that it was indeed the bear from that day. It was a miracle. The grizzly nudged John and watched him struggle to get up. She moved closer to him, allowing him to lean on her for support. Together, they slowly made their way out of the woods with the two cubs in tow. When they got to the border of the woods, John expected the bear to turn around and disappear again. Instead, she led him to his house, where his wife and mother were waiting and worried. At first, they were frightened by the three bears until John explained. His mother then realized her son hadn't been hallucinating after all. As they all watched the bear and her cubs run back into the woods, they knew it was a story they would tell for generations to come. That was the last time John ever saw his old friend. What do you think of this amazing story? Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring videos and stories like this one. Hit the like button and leave a comment if you enjoyed watching this video.